Welcome to Cafe Grit. My name is Beth Campbell, and I am the author of Where the Hell is My Bacon?, a book about a corporate team that triumphed over shitty leadership with the help of fried pork. I open Cafe Grit as a place where you can join me in figuring out how to channel your grit and find your voice in the world, whatever that means for you. This is the place to go when you've got the hankering for purpose, the taste for fulfillment, and you're tired of living the rat race. Thanks for stopping in. Cafe Grit is now open for service. Hey everybody, welcome to Cafe Grit. I'm your host, Beth Campbell. Cafe Grit is where the moxie is fresh, the passion cold brewed, and everything is served with the heaping side of mojo. Speaking of mojo, I got my hair mojo going on today. I apologize to those of you who are audio only. I will describe. I have had long hair for quite some time. I'll call it my COVID hair. I've been moving around. Ladies, women, you know how hard it is to find the right hairstylist, cutter, colorist. And on a good day, certainly during COVID, it was hard. I had a great gal in the last place I lived, but then we moved. And so and then she started doing work outside of hair. So I have not found my Xanadu hairstylist in my local area. However, I have an awesome niece who is amazing. She lives in the state of Michigan. And because I do occasionally frequent, is that an oxymoron? Occasionally frequent. I do occasionally travel to my home state. I have a lot of family there. And I was kind of just sick and tired of the long hair. My mother would say it's because I'm an Aquarius, that when I have long hair, I want short hair. When I have short hair, I want long hair. So my hair grew pretty long. It was actually well past my shoulders, probably about in the back, maybe a third of the way down my back. It was probably chest level. So for me, that's long. And I just got sick and tired of it. And it was just, I didn't really take care of it in the pool. So at one day, this is about a month and a half ago, I just said, I got to get rid of some of this. So I cut about 8 inches off. So then it was just a little bit past my shoulders and felt better. I did a little wolf cut thing from TikTok. Yes, I did. Don't judge. I wear my hair up in a bun or a ponytail every day when I have long hair. So it's not like anybody would really notice anything. It was just to really get some of because when I cut the 8 inches off the first time, I kind of had the triangle thing going on, and it felt very weighted. Anyway, long story short, I've always wanted, always since I've known the singer Pink, I've wanted hair like the singer Pink, just once to try it. And as many of you will attest, especially you women, when you get into your glory years, you just don't give a fuck anymore. So I went to my niece when I was on a recent trip to Michigan. Why did I wait instead of trying to find somebody here? Because I know for this first effort to get the hair short from past my shoulders long, I needed somebody who would work with me. And I've had so many instances in the past where I've gone to stylists and cutters who do not, they're afraid to go too short, and probably rightly so. They probably have people with long hair that say, yes, I want to go short, and then they regret it. I'm not that person. I have had short hair when I was a teenager in the 80s. I had it shaved on the sides. I mean, I've gone up and down many, many times, but they don't know that. And so often it's hard to get them to go short enough. But I knew my niece would work with me. Plus, she's a great cutter. And I don't know what's the right word, hair professional. She's a great hair professional. So, and she did an awesome cut, and I love it. I'm really digging it. I'll probably let the sides where we cut it real close, probably let that grow out a little bit and give me a little bit more of a Hollywood short look, but I'm digging it. Probably keep it short for a while. So if you're on audio only, it's very, very short. She took a number 2 on the sides, and then it's, maybe 2.5 inches on the top part. So I can either pull it up kind of mohawk-like, or right now it's sort of swept to the side. It really looks great with big earrings, which I'm excited about, because when I had long hair, I don't know. I just didn't really, I love earrings and I just didn't wear them a lot. So anyway, I digress. We're not here to talk about hair. Today, we're going to talk about the event of getting laid off. I'm going to tell you my story. Last episode, I did reveal that I got laid off from my job. First time in 23 years of my professional career that I have lost a job. And I talked about the shithole process of applying for unemployment, which has not gotten any less shithole. I kid you not. They have this verification process on your phone, and every time if you wait too long, which sometimes I do, and it's not that long. It's not like they have a very long period where they just automatically shut the page down. And sometimes I have to go research stuff. I have to go look up what is the company phone number that I applied to. And then it would shut down. It would log me out, and I would have to go back and do the re-verification. And so I did the re-verification like 5 times in an hour, and then I was going back to just finalize something, and it told me that I could not get in because I had exceeded the number of verifications in a period of time. Literally the whole day I couldn't get back in. I had to wait. Because I'm in technology, I know that a lot of times things will reset overnight. And that was the case. So anyway, shithole process of unemployment benefits, not gotten really any better. But so today I'm going to talk about the event, like the day before up to the event, and some of the aftermath of getting laid off, of getting my position eliminated. Some of you might be asking, why are you talking about this? This is something that a lot of people don't talk about. It's unsaid, right? Most people who get laid off, let go, their position eliminated, made redundant, whatever you call it. So this is where you're not like, I'm not talking like you were looking at child porn on your work computer where we were terminated for cause. I'm talking about people who get let go for not for cause, for many various reasons. It happens to a lot of people, and almost always it's a surprise. I am probably the exception. I know that sometimes you have a feeling it's coming, and there's things that happen, and that was my case too. I also was doing a little recon, but for most people, it's a little of a surprise. Even if they know layoffs are coming, maybe en masse for your company, you just don't know or you hope that it's not going to be you. You just to the last second, you're just, because it's your livelihood, it's your salary, and nobody wants to leave a place not on their terms. So that's why I'm talking about this, because we don't talk about it, because we don't talk about what it feels like. And nobody ever takes the high road. It's very rare that you will have somebody that will come to you and say, look, I just want to let you know, this is what's coming down the road. I'm sure that there are reasons. I'm sure somebody from HR could tell me that there are good reasons why we don't tell people. We keep it very, very secret and tight. But that doesn't mean it's still not the wrong thing to do, that it's kind of a shit thing to do, to just surprise somebody with, hey, guess what? You don't have a job anymore. One time, this actually did happen to me. I didn't end up getting laid off, but at the same company about 4 years ago, there were a couple of vice presidents who were pushing one of my management to let me go. And that person did let me know that this was happening. And I am forever grateful that they did. I would much rather be prepared than to have this sprung on me, because I probably would have felt maybe that I'd been a little bit betrayed even by that person. Like, why didn't you even tell me? So I am forever, that person knows who they are. Thank you. I forever am grateful that you did tell me. But most of the time we don't. And I have been many times in the past, in previous positions and previous jobs, have suggested, urged, encouraged my management, let's just be honest with this person. Like, for example, contractors. So I worked at a company where we had a lot of contractors. And sometimes there were a lot of amazing ones, but there were a few kind of dicks who, had big egos and just were making problems for our projects. And I just wanted to take them in a room and say, look, shape up or you're going to get your contract terminated. But I couldn't do that. It was never, you can't do that. You have to, let's just let let me have a conversation with them. And it's always just very filtered and sugar-coated. And you all know that I am not about filtering and sugar-coating. So this is why I'm talking about this, because it's important, because a lot of you have gone through this in way worse ways than I did. You were surprised, laid off. You didn't see it coming. It was a huge impact to you. And if there's somebody out there who's maybe in a position where they're wondering, maybe this can help them. So as with last time, I have a lot of notes, so just forgive me if I'm filtering through them. So yes, today I'm going to talk about the actual event of getting laid off. And so to protect the innocent, that would be me, I am just going to collectively refer to quote, air quote, management, and definitely air quote, leadership. So there are a number of individuals that will play into the stories that I will tell you in the months to come about my experiences in the corporate world. And I will just collectively refer to them in management to protect myself. And this is also a story that comes from my perspective, meaning that is what I perceive is happening. It is my truth. It is not everybody's truth. It is my perception. So I don't claim to know what was going on when I was not there or in the room. I do have some insight from maybe other people, but for the most part, I don't. This is my truth, my perception. Others may have a wholly different story. There may be been things going on that I just am not and will not be aware of. But just know that. Just know that this is my truth, not everyone's truth. And somewhere there is an actual truth and other people's truths. So what I talk about may not be someone else's perception. So in the next episode, I will talk about kind of the months leading up to this and how I knew that I was going to have my position eliminated very clearly. Some things that, again, maybe some of you can look out to. But today, let's lead up. We're just going to start very close to the event. We'll walk through the event and some of the aftermath. And so then you'll be able to know if you haven't been in this position, maybe some things to think about and listen for and look for, or maybe you've already been in this position and sometimes it's just nice to know, yep, it's not just me. So I'm going to start on the Tuesday before I got let go, which was on a Wednesday. So this is the day before. And it was around dinner time when I saw a one-on-one meeting come in from management. And it was on my personal phone. Yes, it was very legal. I had our applications for email and other things on my personal phone because sometimes people will reach out over the weekend or off hours, and I just want to be available to help them or answer a question. So I saw this one-on-one come in my email, and I thought that was very odd because I had not had a one-on-one with management in my direct chain of command in many months, 4 or 5 months. So I was 99.99999% sure that this was going to be a meeting where I was going to have my position eliminated. That's what I figured would happen. It would be your position has been eliminated. That would be the reasoning. And I have not had any one-on-one meetings for a long time. This is very unusual. It was also the meeting was for the next day on a Wednesday towards the end of the day, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, I know some of you out there are like, okay, Beth, paranoid much, but often when people are let go, it is towards the end of the day. Now, I also think that people generally get let go, or at least I believed that people generally get let go on Fridays. But this wasn't a Friday, so I guess that's another point against my belief. So maybe I was a little paranoid. I don't know, but I also did know somebody from the company who got let go midweek. So there is precedent for this at this company. So anyway, I was pretty sure end of day hadn't had a one-on-one. I was the only other person on the meeting notice. So I didn't know. There could have been people blind copied and I wouldn't have seen them. But I did a little recon that evening because I figured if this is going to be my dismissal meeting, then HR would have to be there. So I went to the calendar of the person in HR who usually worked with our group. And I did see that she had a meeting at that time for the same amount of time, but her calendar was private and I couldn't see anything on it. So, and she might have even marked it as private, even if her calendar had been public, which some people do. I also think that's a little side note, I think it's kind of shady when you're at a workplace and you block your calendar from everybody. My calendar was open to anybody who wanted to see it. If I want something to be private, I mark it as private. Otherwise, I don't give a shit if you see that I've blocked off time to work up and catch up on stuff, or if I have a meeting here or a meeting there on whatever project. I just think it's sometimes it's a little shady that people just don't do that by default. Anyway, so I did a little recon. I saw that she had a meeting. Again, that doesn't prove anything, but it certainly didn't disprove that, she might have been invited to that meeting as well. So a little bit later that night, I went to my computer and my personal computer, and I polished up a note that I had started to write for my direct reports and a few other people, because again, I knew this was coming. I had started this several weeks before. And it was just a note, basically to tell them that I was no longer with the company, and or that that maybe my departure was imminent. And I said some nice things about people. Just, I wanted people. I knew that if this was going to happen, I wasn't going to have an opportunity, at least through work, to say goodbye or say any nice things or thank you. So that's basically what I did. I wrote some thank yous and some nice things about some of my people who are closest to me, peers, and to my direct reports as well. I also did this because I know I have worked for 23 years, and I know that sometimes when people suddenly disappear, nobody says anything. Management is just too chicken shit, or they want to filter or whatever. I don't know what weakness is out there in quote leadership, air quote leadership, where they can't just tell people that someone's no longer with the company. But sometimes I've seen this go on for days where nobody knows, and people start getting into a panic, like, what in the hell happened? Part of letting people know when someone is no longer with the company is reassuring them that they're not next, right? And that's exactly what I did in my note. That was part of why I wanted to write them. I wanted to let them know that, what I felt about them. And I also wanted people to understand that they shouldn't be worried. They shouldn't be afraid. And I included that, this is a me thing. It's not a you thing. It's not a mass layoff thing. It's a me thing. So there were a few reasons why I wanted to send this, right? I'm a truth person. I like things to be out there and transparent. I don't like people to wonder. There's no reason to not let people know. So, and I knew and was correct that something would not be sent out very soon after the event. So I had written this letter, and I spent some time updating that. So Wednesday came, the day that I was due to be, I believed, let go. And my meeting was at 3:00. So I just, and I was surprisingly calm the entire day, even though, again, I was 99.99999% confident that this was going to be my dismissal. So I just continued to do my job, as I have even for the last 4 or 5 months, when I knew I was being pushed out, my responsibilities taken away, being dismissed, a lot of stuff that we'll talk about later. But I continue. I have a bar, and I work to my bar or above, because that's the kind of person I am, because I'm not going to give anybody an excuse to say, oh, well, she was just slacking off. So I continue to do my kick-ass job normally of managing my team, managing my projects, and doing the shit that I needed to do. So as the day went on Wednesday, I was so convinced that this was going to be the call where I was let go that I started to actually worry about, what if it's not? What if it's just a regular one-on-one? And that started to give me a little churn in the belly. So that kind of tells you where my mindset was. I was looking for that choice to be made for me. I am a firm believer, if you didn't know, I probably haven't talked about it a lot, not in this podcast, but I am a firm believer in the law of attraction. I believe that whatever energy I put out, I will put back. I believe in visualization. I journal every night about what I'm manifesting, what I'm grateful for. And multiple times in the few months preceding my dismissal, I had journaled, actually more than a few times, almost every night, I journaled about the job that I wanted. I want a job where I'm respected and valued. I want a job where I can be creative. I want a job where there's a good culture and diversity. I want a job where management allows me to have the responsibility and that I am capable of, and to trust me, and where I can make a difference. And I journaled because I knew it was not going to be at this company. I knew this since the man who asked me to come back to this company left. I knew from that point, I had hope, I had optimism, but at some point I knew that this wasn't going to be the company to stay at. But I also know that making a big change like that, especially when you're in a professional career for 23 years, it's really difficult to do, mostly because of the golden handcuffs. The golden handcuffs being you get paid a lot of money and it's really hard to leave that money, even though you're very, very unhappy. So even though my salary in itself was a big factor, I believe, in this whole situation, and it had been called out, my high salary, and I'll talk more about that in the next episode. It was still a good salary. It's still my salary. So while I was making it, it's really hard to just let go of that. And I knew I would have to make some cuts and some sacrifices in order to do something different. Well, I'm throwing all this stuff out to the universe. This is not the job for me. Actually, I'm not even saying this is not the job for me. I'm saying this is the job I want. And sometimes the universe just has to slap us in the face because we don't listen, because I stayed, because of the golden handcuffs, because I, was afraid to lose the money. And would the stress of not having that income be more than the stress of working, under shitty management? But the universe just heard I want a job where I'm happy and creative and respected and valued and can make a difference. And it knew that this was not the place to be. So it slapped me in the face and basically told me to wake the fuck up, Beth Ann Campbell. I'm giving you what you want. So at that point in the day, I'm almost afraid now because I'm thinking about this. What if they don't let me go? What if I have to stay here? And that was making my stomach churn even more than on a Monday morning when I was going to work. So 3:00 came and I got on the call and there was only one other person there. And so for a split second, I thought, well, maybe this is just a one-on-one. Maybe I've just been imagining this. And it's just going to be something different. So then I was racking my brain trying to think, what in the fuck would this one-on-one be about? So, because I expected HR to be there, I guess that's what I'm saying is one person in the management chain and nobody from HR. Well, when you let somebody go, you have to have HR there. So it's just me and this other person. So I ask, how's it going? And they respond, not good. And I'm like, oh, okay, there it is. Not even going to try to play it down. I knew that they meant it was this call was the not good, right? But you know what? I'm going to play the game. So I bit and I said, sorry to hear that. What's going on? And they said, this call. Okay, well, just let me know right up front what this is. Okay, bingo, ding, 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 you win. Congratulations, Beth Ann Campbell. Once again, you think and you observe things. That's what you do. So if I had any doubt at that time, there was none anymore. I knew. The person said they were waiting for a couple of other people and they joined shortly. And now guess what? One of them was HR and it was the person whose calendar I had looked at. And so sure enough, Beth Ann Campbell is right. ... Again. So management jumped right in. It was very script-like, which I don't blame. I had to one time in my career, I had to let somebody go for cause. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I wish that I had never had to do it because I really, really like the guy. I still do. I know he was going through some tough times. And it was super difficult. And I had to write it down because it was so hard to get through. Anyways, management jumped right in, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I do take good notes. Last couple of days, they've been working through the org chart. It's become pretty clear that my position, my responsibilities, and the promises don't exist and don't align with where they're going. Therefore, we have decided to eliminate this position from the team for the good of the team. Yes, they actually said that. And that's as clear cut as I can say it. HR will talk with you on some of the options, and that's it. And that was literally it. Yes, the person did say for the good of the team. I mean, what kind of fucking emotional intelligence impairment do you have to have that you would tell somebody that you're just taking away their livelihood, that you're doing so for the good of the team? I'm just thinking that you could have left that part out. I'm just saying. I don't think it was intended. It was just, again, somebody who just doesn't really know how to lead. So, first of all, I'm not going to blatantly call anybody a liar, but I can tell you a couple of days is not accurate. It was months, seriously months, and that's fine. I've been in corporate for 23 years, as I've mentioned ad nauseum, and there's a lot of insecurity and weakness in management. And like I said earlier, we can never just be honest with people and just be transparent about what's going on. Nobody ever does that except me and maybe you. And by the way, if you want to hear about transparency, go out to Amazon and look up my book, From Blah to Badass. And we have a great lesson in there about being transparent with your people. Anyway, I knew nobody was going to take the high road at that point. So, but I can tell you that even if the actual decision where somebody sat down and said, yes, at this point, we must eliminate this position, even if that did take place within the last, quote, couple of days, I can tell you that the weeding out, the pushing out of Beth Campbell had been going on for several months. Also, they mentioned the position and the responsibilities. What was ironic is that management actually had a part in taking those responsibilities away. So my role didn't change. Or if it changed because they made it change. So it was almost like this fulfilling of their own prophecy, or like you make a thief and then you punish them, right? So my responsibilities, I absolutely took them on and tried to retain them, and at every turn they were taken away or dismissed or pushed on to somebody else. So more about that in the next episode. So that's fine. This is what they tell you. This is how they work. And I didn't have any other questions for management, so I basically said, you can go. And I had some questions for HR. So I did talk to HR for a few minutes. As part of my position being eliminated, they did offer me 2 weeks severance pay, as long as I, number one, returned all of my equipment, which of course I did. And second, I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, a bunch of legalese that basically prevented me from talking about the company, the terms of my severance, and also I couldn't try to solicit people away from the company. Let's talk about the 2 weeks severance for a second. Just to let you know, I had 6 years with this company. So, and in between there, I did take about a 9 or 10 month hiatus to go to another position, but then I was asked to come back. And when I came back, because I'd been gone for less than a year, my service was continuous. It was very easy to onboard. I was assured that I would still have my full years. So I had 6 years with the company. According to Kiplinger.com, now this is a finance and investment company and site. This is a quote: generally, you'll get 1 week to 4 weeks of pay per year of service, but it's common for employers to pay out 2 weeks of pay for each year at the company. According to Indeed.com, which is a job site, the typical severance pay employers provide is 1 to 2 weeks for every year the employee worked. Now, it might be on the lower side if you're maybe an individual contributor or new to the company. It may be on the higher side if you're like a senior exec. You might get the 4 weeks. But generally, 2 weeks for every year is pretty standard. So again, I worked for the company for 6 years and I got offered 2 weeks. By all accounts, I would have expected something more in the 12-week of severance pay. 2 weeks is embarrassing, not for me, for them. And it's not worth my while to not be able to tell my stories and talk about the terms of my being let go. So as for the non-disclosure and the severance, I did decline that. And I will say, I did not do this lightly. I don't do this lightly because I know many people who have been fired unfairly or laid off, part of mass layoffs or individual, who were in a bad place. They were totally unprepared. They had lots of debt. They didn't know what was coming. And I recognize that I was coming from a place of privilege. I have a spouse who works. I have other income. I was aware of my path in this company and what was coming for, like I said, for months. So I was able to choose. I had the luxury, the privilege of choosing my integrity and my grit and my voice versus selling out for a couple weeks of pay. So I understand that I am not everybody. And for some people, that 2 weeks of pay could be critical. So I don't mean to say that I just blasé. I thought about this for a good week before it was probably a week and a half before I declined. So I talked to HR a little bit about the severance package and, insurance and stuff. And then about 15 minutes after I got off the call, I sent out my note to my direct reports and my close peers. And if anybody out there happens to be listening who is from this company who did not get this note, please, it is no reflection of you. I just chose the people that I worked very closely with or one-on-one or had projects with, or really those who were kind of very close support in some of the things that had been going on even before this happened, just me being frustrated. So it's nothing personal if you didn't get this note. I still love most of you. So I will say I have, in the aftermath of this, I have received so many wonderful words from some of my team, my peers, people from the company whom I didn't really work with much, but who became aware because I put a post on LinkedIn and other places, because why not? Because again, I tell truth, I talk about the truth, and I needed to reach my network because I'm now looking for a job. But a lot of people that I didn't really work with on a regular basis, but just knew from the company, have reached out, and I appreciate it so much. I really feel, I hope that things are not, I hope this is not a sign of things to come. I know there were several events that people were maybe concerned about, and I hope that doesn't turn out. I don't wish anybody ill will, but I will say, if anybody out there has been through a layoff or a termination or whatever, and you have been open about it to people, and people have sent you well wishes and said really nice things to you, keep that shit. Put them in a file, take a screenshot or whatever. And when you're in a really shitty mood, you're having a really bad day about whatever, go and pull that stuff out. That is one of my best tips for, and this goes for anything. Doesn't even have to be if you were terminated or laid off. Whenever people say nice things about you, remember those things and keep them, because they are great mood boosters when you're just having a shitty day. And believe me, I pulled out many of them in the past few months at this in this role. So thank you for everybody who reached out, and people that have offered to help and put in a good word and made suggestions. I love you, and I really do appreciate more than I can even say. So anyway, so I'm going to stop there. Otherwise, I'm going to start getting all verklempt. So that's pretty much it for the immediate aftermath, other than the unemployment benefits, which I've already talked about in episode 050. Here I am. It's now exactly 3 weeks after my dismissal, after I was made redundant. I don't even know which one I like better. My position was eliminated. That's what they officially said, and it sounds the least egregious. I'm doing pretty great. It was definitely up and down for a while. I felt really good and confident, and like a weight had been lifted off of my shoulders at first, and then it kind of sunk in. I mean, I'm, a part of the breadwinner of this house. So now I have that weight on my shoulders, that now I'm not bringing in, the kind of money that I was. But mostly the down part was not that I was no longer working for this company. The down part was struggling with my sense of value. Like why? There were just a handful of people that didn't seem to value what I did. And believe me, what I did didn't go away. They can say they eliminated the position. It just got offset to other people. But it was just, that sense of like, I'm trying to succeed. I want to succeed. I'm doing my damnedest to succeed. And that wasn't good enough. And I don't know anybody who wouldn't struggle with that. Like, what is it? Is it something I said or did? And, I don't think it was. I think it was just probably money. But as somebody who does take ownership, that's a tough thing. Wondering why somebody didn't see value in you that was the hardest part. But again, I'm super relieved to be done. I'll miss a lot of people. I won't miss the management culture. My stress level has plummeted. Like I said, it was kind of wonky up front, but then when I worked through all of the value stuff, and I'm so grateful that I was logistically prepared, but probably didn't think that I probably thought that I was more mentally, psychologically prepared than I was having to work through that stuff. But I'm doing great now. The day after I got laid off, I was sitting on the front porch in the morning with my dog Moxie, sweetest little girl in the world. And this was just our normal routine, right? Nothing changed. We go for a walk. She gets fed. We go sit out front and just kind of settle in before I start my workday. And at one point, we're sitting out in the front porch, and I looked at my watch, and it was 7:46 a.m. And my stomach immediately just like crunched into this tight ball, and I got this panic, like, oh shit, I've got to be at my desk in 14 minutes and start my workday. And then a split second later, I remembered, oh, wait, I don't. And it just released. And it was just glorious. And it was very clear to me the kind of stress that I had been under now that maybe hadn't even been aware. I knew I was under stress, but I didn't realize how much stress I had been under, that I was getting that tense thinking about starting my workday. And fortunately, I didn't realize how bad it was. So what's the final word here? What's the lesson? So the biggest things for me were I was prepared. So if you're out there and you're sensing things, hearing things, some things doesn't quite seem right, listen to your gut. I'm not saying that you have to, knee jerk, but you know what? Listen to your gut. If you're experiencing things where you feel that you're not valued, number one, speak up about it. And we'll talk about it again. Keep referring to the next episode. Can't wait. I did speak up about a lot of things I confronted and just wanted to get truth answers. So you do that too. And you'll know then either someone's going to lie to you, or they're going to be honest with you, or they're not going to say anything. And that will speak volumes. Second thing about this whole experience is that I'm grateful that I was able to not have to sell out on that really embarrassing severance package, kind of a token package. And I'm really grateful. I know this sounds really crazy, and I'm not going to say that this wasn't without pain. Clearly it was, but I'm grateful that this did happen. I truly am. I feel so free and ready to find my next adventure. So those are my lessons to you. Think, listen, observe, trust your gut, speak out, but also know that sometimes breaking away is the best thing. So I know there are a lot of you out there, so many of you who are in this position, or you think that this is going to happen to you. You're afraid, you think that they're going to let you go, or you have already gotten fired or laid off, or your position eliminated, made redundant, or maybe you're just walking on eggshells, as I was for months, just wondering what was coming next. My message to you is hold on to you. Hold on to you and your integrity, your grit, and yourself, because that is the most important thing. That is precious, valuable beyond words. And don't let somebody else determine your value. Someone said that to me once, and it did resonate. Don't let someone else determine your value. I did that. I let that happen. I took it for things personally, but it really was not reflective at all of my value. So if there's anybody out there who is struggling, either in a similar situation, or you think something's going to happen, or you just need somebody to talk to, please reach out. I am on LinkedIn, Beth Campbell. I'm also on Instagram and Threads and Facebook, the trifecta at The Bean 67. That's 2 N's in The Bean, TheBeann 67. I'm on YouTube at The Bean, again, 2 N's, but without the number. Or you can always go to my website, bethancampbell.com with links to everything, including my podcasting, my books, including my other podcast, which is about pets. Do you love pets? I'm going to try to do some more episodes of My Favorite Bitch. But whatever it is, if you need to talk, let's talk. If it will help, I am here for you. And I'm here to be your voice when you can't. And always, this is the most important thing. Never forget, always remember, you are a fucking badass. Even if you get terminated, even if you get let go, even if your job is shitty and you don't know what to do and you're afraid to leave like I was, doesn't matter. You're still a rock star. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Take it easy. Hey everybody, thank you for stopping by Cafe Grit, where the moxie is fresh, the passion cold brewed, and everything is served with a heaping side of mojo. For more Cafe Grit episodes, please check out bethancampbell.com/Cafe Grit. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving it a rating or review on YouTube, Buzzsprout, or your favorite streaming platform. I'll be forever grateful, and in return, I'll wish upon you copious amounts of bacon, your favorite hot beverage, and of course, pie. I'd love to connect and hear about your grit experiences as well. Please go to bethancampbell.com for links to all my social media. Cafe Grit is a product of Beth Ann Campbell, LLC, all rights reserved. Thanks again, and remember, you are a badass. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Take it easy.